Shemai everyone, my name is Reena Patel and I'm the new head teacher of Kitchener Primary School. I started in September 2020. It's my first headship. I feel very proud to be part of the Kitchener community. I wanted to share my thoughts on the GOT project and challenging extremism. I wanted to start off with giving you a context of our school first and sharing the importance and significance of the project for our children in our school. Kitchener Primary School is in the top 5 most diverse schools in Wales. 92% of our children come from ethnic minority backgrounds and 85% of our children have English as an additional language. 35 different languages are spoken, and most of our families belong to the Bengali Bangladeshi community, with over 80% who believe in the Muslim faith. I'll leave you to read the rest of the facts, but this makes Kitchener Primary School a unique and exciting place to teach. It can also bring its fair share of challenges for the school community in order for us to meet the needs of all the children. I believe our children are the curriculum, and therefore our children need to be at the heart of this model, and they're the only reason that school exists. Therefore, their needs need to be reflected when curriculum planning or redesigning to ensure that we celebrate all faiths, diversity, develop our children as people, and teach skills such as respect, tolerance, kindness, resilience needs to be a priority in developing the child. And this is for any curriculum, for any school, regardless of the context. As with all schools across Wales, we are in the process of redesigning our curriculum to meet the needs of our children and our community. Our staff at Kitchener felt really strongly that our curriculum needed to be inclusive, engaging, meaningful, exciting, relevant for our children. We also feel very strongly that learning concepts should be at the core of curriculum planning, as with 4 purposes. So we have identified learning concepts that are appropriate for Kitchener and also appropriate for cohorts and classes. The learning concepts identified with Kitchener as a whole were identity, rights, justice, equality, fairness, and compassion. I don't know if you've come across this phrase before, but I absolutely love it. Confront discomfort, or be comfortable with discomfort. And I believe that discomfort is the seed of all change. It's really important that we as schools provide a safe platform and a safe environment where our children can debate emotive issues. Providing our children with the right platform and the right culture to be able to talk about subject matters such as stereotypes, radicalisation, equality, propaganda, it does give them that invitation to be able to talk, to be brave, and to talk about raw subject matters that they may not be able to talk about elsewhere. I think too often we second guess our young people. We make excuses, or we say that they're not resilient enough, or they're too young to be able to talk about such issues. But it's not the case, and it's not their fault, it's our fault. It's our fault for second guessing and assuming that our children will not be able to talk about real life issues. And real life issues are brutal. They're real. They can be uncomfortable, they can be distressing, but as soon as we start to water down such raw issues, we start to compromise, we start to second guess what they can and cannot take. We start to then get an unreal picture of what's actually happening in the world. And children are so clever, they know when you're giving them the watered down version. So I think it's really important that we do raise issues that they can talk about in an open and honest way. And I think it's really important for us as practitioners that we shouldn't pick and choose what they need to know about. It should be relevant. It should be something that matters to them. and it can only make you stronger. I think it's really important for us to be brutally honest with our children and allow them to be able to be brutally honest back. The inspiring learning experiences within the GOT project allow us to develop the child. As I mentioned earlier, the learning concepts that we identified that would meet the needs for our children in our curriculum, the GOT project allows you to do this, and it fits in really well. So looking at rights, justice, equality, fairness, compassion, developing the child to be able to use these learning concepts in a transferable way to do with any real life issue or any real life subject matter that they come across in a different context, in the world of work, when they're with their family members, allows the child to be able to develop their thought, develop their opinions, develop their own values and what they stand for. Our families at Kitchener are very supportive of the school. They're very supportive of education. They hold it as number one priority. And this is due to many different factors. First and foremost, they didn't have an education, or they didn't have the right to have an education, some of the family members that I know. And so their vision of learning may be slightly different to our children's vision for learning and us as practitioners, our vision for learning. So when we do approach sensitive subject matter, such as talking about equality, talking about stereotypes, this can be quite tricky. They are very fragile, our community, and talking about such issues which can empower our children and inspire our children because they know what they want. They're very clear about what they want, but they may not see it replicated at home, and it may be something where they find themselves divided and living between two cultures. So the GOT project and our curriculum, it fits hand in hand. It's not a separate or another thing to do. It is what we believe in. It's our vision for learning. And our vision for learning for our children is to be able to approach our families and our children about talking about such sensitive subject matter, where they also see it as high priority and they do see it as educational, and they see it that it's important for our children to have that voice, to be able to talk openly and honestly about what they think, even if it differs from what other members of their family think. And they are trying to find their way in life. And that's what it is. Our children are trying to find their way in life. And it can be challenging for our families because they're not used to, some of our girls in particular, having a view, having an opinion. And I think it's really important for us in Kitchener to be able to know this, and so that we can plan the right learning experiences within our curriculum to empower our children, to empower our girls so that they can have a voice. Just to summarise and bring everything together, we know that our context in Kitchener is very different to other contexts or other communities. But regardless, as I've shared before, of the context of the school, every individual in every school needs to be able to provide a platform where they can talk about relevant subject matter that is sensitive, that can be quite distressing for children. And for us at Kitchener, the most challenging part of this is making sure that we take our families with us on this journey. Our families sometimes do not provide the platform or the culture within their own families where our children can talk openly and honestly. And so if we don't do this in Kitchener, our children will feel isolated. They won't have the right information in front of them to make opinions. So for us, we always make sure that we provide the skills where children can disagree politely. they have the skills and the sentence patterns to be able to disagree respectfully. We still have a long way to go. We are still developing our curriculum. But I am confident that the curriculum that we do develop with our children will definitely reflect their needs, will definitely reflect the challenges that they face and the aspirations that they have. Thank you so much for listening.